Hello, UCR. What's your favorite scary movie?
Good evening, good afternoon, good morrow to all of you out there watching Uncensored Horror. Welcome back. As you can see, it is only the OGs today. It is myself, Steve, the lovely Luke, and the captivating Katie, here with a little surprise for you for St. Patrick's Day.
The boys are feeling some regret.
Let's call Katie out straight up, can we?
Look,
this was Katie McCarthy's idea, everybody.
No, folks. I gave them options. I said, hey, guys.
I don't remember this conversation, so I'm pleading the fifth on this. I don't remember.
I have screenshots. I have the receipts.
No, Spaduti, this is your fault because he gave us options, but this was, look, yeah, we are complicit in it a little bit because we were like, well, this is the movie everyone will know. Mm-hmm. And what movie is that, Steve?
Oh, so for better, for worse, we are looking at today 1993's Leprechaun. And look, the tagline is, all right, your luck just run out, because
it really did for us.
Listen, kids, I pitched some Irish elevated horror, and they weren't into it. So if you want to do some elevated horror with me,
we have nothing. Look, we have nothing against elevated horror. We have stuff about horror that people know because we need to make sure that people watch. So I am going to lead the strike this week. I have actually never seen this movie until a couple of hours ago. And I think I could have done without seeing the rest of it for the rest of my life, but that's okay. Luke, is this the first time you've seen Leprechaun?
No, I watched Leprechaun way back in, I think I was working in a video store around 99. Yeah, 99, 2000. So it was one of those ones that was just there on the shelf. So I'm like, yeah, I'll watch that tonight. Pretty much blocked the whole thing out. It was up there with Critters 3. It was just one of those things that's like, yeah, it's not going to go into the records. Watching it again, though, bits came back to me. I enjoyed Jennifer Aniston's 90s look, very Buffy Summers.
We're going to go into the whole aesthetic soon. Katie McCarthy, obviously this is not the first time you've seen it.
So funny story. The actual first kind of acknowledgement of this movie, one of the girls in my Girl Scout troop told me this as a ghost story as we were falling asleep. I'm not even kidding. She goes, so I watched The Leprechaun the other day. I said, oh, what's that about? A killer leprechaun. Oh, I want to hear about it. Told me the whole movie. And then eventually I caught it on Sci-Fi after that. But I thought her retelling of it was much better than the actual film. So shout out to Erica because you did a good job.
Good work.
Thanks, Erica. This is why we're here right now.
Erica should have been the director because Mark Jones, you leave a lot to be desired, is all I'm saying. So,
do you guys know how much this movie made at the box office?
We're going to talk about that at the end.
Okay.
I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't understand.
They've got to come on the journey with us first.
Anyway, yeah, you have to go. If we have to suffer through it, you have to suffer through it.
As always,
pull
kids,
up a rainbow, kids.
This is spoilerific.
Thank you.
But you're not really getting spoiled much, so go ahead.
If you haven't seen 1993's Leprechaun and you would always wanted to see it, pause the review, watch it, and then come back and dig into it with us. So, as we were saying, we are watching 1993's horror comedy Leprechaun, written and directed by Mark Jones, starring Warwick Davis in the title role. First of all, let's talk about Warwick Davis. Where we know him from?
Willow.
And Star Wars.
And Star Wars did a very prolific career, actually.
Mhm. Now, here's a question for you ahead of time. Do you want me to sprinkle in the fun facts or save them all to
Sprinkle
the
away,
end?
doll. Sprinkle
All
away.
right.
But
Fast.
I'm probably about to jump in on your first fun fact.
Go ahead.
So,
See if you got it.
the movie, in short, follows the titular Leprechaun as he vengefully tries to retrieve his stolen pot of gold. Originally, this movie was meant to be a straight out horror film for a younger audience.
Mm-hmm.
So it was meant to be a kids' horror film, which very much, does that.
That
But
explains some of the narrative choices.
they liked what
Oh.
Warwick was doing, so they
Yeah.
decided to add some gore, reshoot it a little bit, and go, yay.
Yeah,
Let's
Warwick
jump
wanted
into
it. He wanted it real campy. He thought it was a good idea. And the story is actually based on a 30s comic book based on the same kind of premise. And the character is named Dan O'Grady, which sounds a little familiar, doesn't it?
O'Grady's was the farm, right?
And this was it was published by Trimark, who also did the movie. And this was their first film. Not sure how they feel about it now, but this was the first. This was it. This is the big
Well, it
debut.
launched them.
Do Trimark still exist?
I think so. I'm not sure.
That could be a surprise.
Well, they got a lot more than they should have if this was their crowning glory.
This was their first production. It was a choice, basically.
It feels like it. Even from the very beginning, it feels like awkward virgin sex because there is no foreplay. There is no foreplay. We just get straight into it. There's a leprechaun talking about no one can get me gold. No one can get me
Can
gold.
you please say it like him for me, Steve? Please.
No one
Say
can
it like
get
you
me
mean it.
gold.
There you go.
There we go. And we randomly meet Mr. O'Grady. Does he have a first name?
Dan
He's an
O'Grady. He's
alcoholic.
named
Dan?
after
Sorry.
the character in the
I was
comic.
like, is his name Paddy O'Grady or
No,
something? I
it's
don't know.
Dan O'Grady.
Dan O'Grady, who is returned off screen. All this happens off screen, by the way. Returned from Ireland after he followed a rainbow and found the leprechaun's gold, stole it, and waylaid the leprechaun. All of that has happened off screen. We just see a fairly dodgy farm set with an angry old lady, and yeah.
And she was randomly I don't even know what was going on there because she used some other language for a minute and then was talking in English again. It was just
Was
very
it
odd.
Gaelic?
Oh, who would know? It's just weird.
Well,
He's not pretty.
But he drives in pissed, which is typical Irish, I guess. Pulls up blind drunk. And then the wife's all... Is she the wife?
She's
the wife. She's the wife.
Yeah, so then why is she calling him by his name? Like, oh, Mr.
Because that's what they do over there. That's what they do over there.
I call Kyle Mr. McCarthy sometimes.
Oh, Mr. McCarthy. Oh.
It's mostly when he's in trouble, but that's not.
To be sure. So anyway, heavy exposition. He buries the pot of gold on his land so he can, stay rich and wonderful. But we have the arrival of the Lep. The Lep, as he likes
The
to call himself.
Leprechaun.
The
He has a name.
Leprechaun.
He has
What?
a name.
Leprechaun. I just like to call him the Lep. Look at him.
Hey!
If there's
So
if
that
there's one
makeup-
thing I've got to say, the makeup was good.
it took 3
Oh, yeah.
hours to put on every time, and he developed quite the relationship with the makeup artist. Now they're buddies.
Oh, that's
Oh.
good. The Lep, yeah, and there's no sense of tension, no sense of cinema quality at all. Everything is just on screen,
It was very
there.
much directed like a play. A few scenes.
Do you know what it is?
I took a few screenshots for this one where it was like, okay, this is you stand here, you stand here, you stand here, and this is going to happen.
They couldn't afford the coverage. That's why.
Very amateur. Very,
but
very amateur shots.
it's like a TV movie. It's shot
Yeah.
like a TV movie.
Well, Mark Jones has a career in television, so
Well, there you
that
go,
would
you can
explain a
tell.
whole lot.
So anyway, after the wife is brutally murdered for no reason because
Knocked down the stairs, old girl
collateral damage, she's gone.
Mhm.
The leprechaun is waylaid in a box by a magical four-leaf clover. I can't believe these words are coming out of my mouth.
I love this.
And
This-
as Dan O'Grady tries to burn the leprechaun to send him to the other realms, he has a stroke.
Yeah.
And the leprechaun
Which the leprechaun told him he would in his head.
Yes,
You can't burn me because I won't let you. You might have a stroke.
Oh, yours is a southern leprechaun. You might have a stroke. Oh.
Mine's a slutty leprechaun.
Anyway, 10 years pass. 10 whole years pass, and we're in the 90s.
As Jennifer Aniston tells us, this is
Yes,
the 90s.
J.D. Redding and his daughter Tori rent the farm for the summer. Now, we've got to talk about Jen.
we got to talk about Jen.
We got to talk about Jen. Jennifer is supposed to be a teenager in this movie.
Mm-mm. You're
I'm
not
sorry.
fooling no one, Jen.
You're not feeling
Her body was banging.
Her body was
She-
banging.
Yeah, she looks
but-
great, but she's not. A
She was
teenager.
MILF material by this
And we
point.
also have to talk about the quite striking, noticeable feature that has changed over the years.
Are
this
you
is
talking
Jennifer's
about?
Old nose in this film.
Listen, I think she looks great with both of them. So more power
Me
to her.
too, but I can see why she, went under the snap, because if this is her first film, this is her debut, and then literally not long after, this was 1993. Like,
Mhm.
Friends was looming on the horizon. She actually thought this would harm her career.
Yeah,
This
Warwick
movie.
Davis says that she publicly denies that she had any kind of involvement in this film. But Jen,
Well,
there's-
that's not
there's
true,
a
because
lot of
I read an online article said she watched it with her latest ex-husband, and she said that she couldn't sit still. She had to wander in and out for the whole movie because it was a bit cringy. So she has watched it, whether she acknowledges it or not.
She just
is
doesn't
another
acknowledge
thing.
she had any kind of part in it.
She's got the
apparently.
Michelle Pfeiffer syndrome,
Oh,
the Michelle Pfeiffer Grease 2 syndrome. But if I was Michelle Pfeiffer, I would claim Grease 2 and not
I
some of
would
the other
own every
not some of the
single
other
second of it.
stinkers that Michelle's been in.
Every single second of it. But
But
yeah,
do we
she's-
know much about Jennifer Aniston before she was Jennifer Aniston?
She was
No.
Tori. She was Tori Redding, and she was on
She
the
was
farm.
actually Jennifer Anistonopoulos. Anistonopoulos. Because do we know who her father is?
John Aniston, isn't it?
John Aniston.
I'm winning
And
all
do we
the
know
trivia
where-
tonight.
Do we know where John Aniston is from?
Oh, I'm gonna mess this one up, but I'm gonna try. Days of Our Lives.
Young and the Restless, isn't it?
Oh,
One of them.
He
it was
is
a soap opera.
legendary daytime soap opera actor. And yes, this is his little girl taking her first steps into the movie world.
And what a step!
And what a step. What a step.
I love it.
I thought that they actually looked like newlyweds as opposed to father and daughter.
Hold that back up. Let me see.
Especially in
No,
Hollywood.
not them. I'm talking in the movie. In the movie.
Oh.
Her movie dad. They look like
Yeah.
they were dating. But look, her and Warwick Davis's performance are what actually are the only redeeming qualities in this movie. She's
Yeah,
not
They're
bad
not
in it.
terrible.
No,
Yeah,
she's not bad
She's
in
quite
it.
likable.
Yeah.
I
She's
don't
not
like
quite-
Jen in movies.
She's not
Not her
she's
best.
not 16 though. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Let's face it.
No,
She's
she's not.
16.
She's not.
So anyway, she's the typical Cali girl with her portable phone, we're calling it back then. Mate, portable. Mate, portable.
Oh my god.
This is the
Who-
90s,
Who
okay?
can't? Yeah, who cannot
It's very
deal.
much the 90s, apparently.
Girls
Yeah.
are allowed to talk to people now, okay?
She's like proto Cher before Clueless came along. I think.
How dare you?
They were
That's mean.
looking at, but I don't get why you would rent a farm to do. Are you allowed to do that? Are you allowed to rent a
Rent it
property
in that
and then
state.
paint it? But are you allowed to paint a property that's not yours?
Some landlords don't care if you like improve the property. They just don't want you to damage the property.
Can I just quickly interject into this paint thing as well? Why has everyone got like one strip of paint on their arm? Oh, like, oh, we're painting.
Because they were
couldn't
working
afford
very hard.
They couldn't
Okay.
afford the paint budget. They're like, you
Probably
only get a
not.
bit. You only get a bit. So we do meet the, I guess you would call it hired help that are helping to renovate the.
Is he meant to be a teenager as well?
I don't know.
He's got a 10-year-old brother, so I'm going to
But Ken
assume
Olant,
he's probably
look at those crow's feet.
Yeah.
This is giving me some very Kevin Bacon vibes, but
This
Kevin
is giving
Bacon
me like
looks
I
much
was like,
better.
was he in a Friday the 13th or something? Like he's very much that stereotypical white jock, like pretty boy looking thing that gets murdered at like 5th or something.
Kevin Olant.
Kevin Olant. He's actually was quite prolific. Was in a lot of TV. I swear he's in Soap Dish, or one of those movies that I've seen, but I couldn't see it on his. I couldn't see it on his IMDb.
He was in one of our favorite films, April Fool's Day.
He was that. I was like, I knew that I'd seen his face. Well, he was, but he was Amy Steele's boyfriend, right?
He was Fred.
He was a teenager back then.
We saw his butt. We saw his butt, remember? We nearly saw his schlubby.
We did.
I knew his face from somewhere. I'm like, I was like, it's not
just
Friday
a lot
the 13th.
older here.
But it can't have been that. It can't have been that much later, right?
April Fool's Day was 86, and then this
It
was
was
93.
it was early. It was later. How is he younger in a later film?
I don't know what to tell you.
Botox had not been invented. Anyway, so yes, we meet Nathan, and then we meet his kid brother, and I don't. Are we? Oh,
Hey, what's that kid's name again? I can't remember.
Is it Alex? Alex?
Oh, let's see.
And I know Overall's name was Ozzy,
Ozzy.
who was like
Alex.
Ozzy was like
brother.
Alex is
was
the brother.
Ozzy meant
Now-
to be like the slow guy from like Friday
Yes.
the 13th 5 with the
Yes.
chocolate bars?
Yeah.
He is. Yes, he is slow.
mentally,
Slow.
yes, not all there. But I actually like Alex was quite a good actor, the kid as well. When he's like, "I'm sorry, we can't let you do it. Public liability prohibits anyone helping." I'm like, "Ha! You're a funny little shit." I enjoy that. It's like you're a funny little dude. So yeah, everyone's there, and of course Nathan and Tori
Sorry.
find a little, will they, won't they?
Little sparks there because first Tori wants to
battle of the
leave.
sexes, right? That's it.
Oh boy.
Well, Tori wants to leave, and then once she spots this hunker burning love, she's like, tells Daddy, then, no, we're going to stay. It's fine. I can deal with a bit of dust. So, I don't know.
Dad's trying to cock block. Dad's trying to cock block hard, right?
Typical. It is the 90s. She is a liberated woman. Let her do what she's got to do.
And she tells us it's the 90s quite a lot, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
This is
just
the
Guys,
90s.
it's the 90s. Okay.
Just in case you forgot, it is the 90s. Okay. Okay.
That's why I'm allowed to
anyway.
wear denim jackets, okay?
Ozzy is wandering around the house after he gets covered in paint. What we don't see happen because we can only get one take of it. So,
Ugh.
whoops, we've got to go slowly.
Why would you have him wasting all
Oh
your
wait, you
paint?
said 86. Sorry, I'm on drugs. 86 was before 93. Never mind.
Yeah, it was. but-
Delayed reaction. Well, I thought you were talking about 93. I was like, it's so much later.
I'm a dumb bitch. I think this movie's made me stupid.
Listen, I just thought we were
IQ
talking-
dropping
I just
in
thought you were
3,
talking about Leprechaun, saying this was later. He looks younger in Leprechaun. I'm like, okay, sure, whatever.
No, he doesn't. He was hot. He was hot in the 80s. Oh, he's still pretty good looking.
He's not a bad
Oh,
looking
he's
guy.
not bad looking bit of beef. He's just not a teenager.
I mean, I wouldn't
By any
consider that for
stretch.
crackers.
But maybe it's not meant to be. Anyway, we're
getting off track.
Semantics, because of course the fucking filmmaker didn't care. Otherwise, we would have these details, right? Ozzy hears a cry for help from the basement crate. A child. So he brushes off the four-leaf clover that's managed to stay not moving.
Yeah,
for 10 years.
It's strange, isn't it?
As you do.
Hmm.
And out bursts little Lep. He's here.
Was it still green too, the little clover?
No, it was brown. It was brown.
Oh.
It fell to the ground when it was
Just
brown.
for continuity purposes, the leprechaun's name is Lubden. I think it's
Oh.
Lubden.
I also like calling him Lep because he calls himself Lep.
Lep is fine with me, but the man does have an actual name. I love
Little Lep. Little Lep. Little Lep. Little Lep convinces Ozzy that he's actually a shoemaker from Ireland, but it's come to yeah. But
With a
obviously
terrible
he is
skin
here.
condition.
I know, right? Burns. So Ozzy tries to convince everyone that he's seen a leprechaun, but apparently he's seen aliens and serial killers, all this kind of stuff before. No one takes poor Ozzy that seriously.
Yeah,
but
he's an unreliable narrator.
Yeah, but for obvious reasons, because he spots a rainbow and chases it, believing that he'll find a pot of gold. Alex, who is like 42, chases after him to make sure that he doesn't hurt himself, and he does find a pot of gold. He finds the 100 gold coins.
Well, 99.
99, because obviously what you have to do with gold coins is test that they're real and accidentally swallow one.
And they were big coins. How do you accidentally go from biting it to
Got hungry, okay?
And then in probably one of the most offensive moments of this movie, they bring the gold back to the farm, stash it in the well because they hope to have an operation to fix Ozzy's brain.
This did not age well.
This was the 90s. All. It wasn't that long ago. It's like, ooh, ouch, chihuahua.
Yeah, this is not aging very well at all, because let's assume that they meant to have him on the spectrum. Okay, let's assume that's what they were aiming for. They were not.
They were like going no full transplant or something. I don't know what they were saying was going to happen.
Yeah, this not pass the vibe check in 2022.
No, it's like,
Jen, what were you thinking?
She wasn't ready. She wasn't ready.
She wasn't ready. Now, I am going to have to give full disclosure. This is where I picked up my phone. And I didn't realize that I was on my phone for a good 25-30 minutes not paying attention to the film.
Oh, I love it.
I was like, oh, okay. And then I went, oh no, you're supposed to be watching this for the show. I'm like, okay, cool. No worries.
Well, what plot points did we miss in this 25 minutes?
The last thing I remember was him going into the basement. I missed all of this.
Okay, so they went in the basement.
No, I saw.
And then
I've just read it. It's all good. I know what's going on.
Yeah, so nothing really happened in the basement. Then later on, Jennifer was getting her leg felt up the car, and she was allowing it.
You're missing.
You're missing a lot. This is where I tuned back in. This is where I tuned back in because, again, that little Lep, he's a tricky little bastard. He's also a ventriloquist and impersonator because he pretended to be a little stranded kitty. Mow mow. Little kitty mow mow. Because pussycats go mow mow.
Mow.
Yes.
Is that the sound you make?
Yes. Pussycats go mow mow.
Yes.
Being trapped in a log, and then JD, the most 80s name in the world, Daddy, who's barely in this movie. I think they could have done it without him.
Well, I kept looking for him later in the movie. I'm like, does Daddy buy that?
Daddy gets shifted. So he puts his hand in the log to retrieve said kitty and comes out with the biggest, bloodiest bite wound I've seen.
Okay, first off, even if it was an actual cat, why are you sticking your hand in somewhere you can't see? Because cats bite too, man. Cats
And
can get rabies.
if you've ever had a cat and been bitten by a cat or attacked or scratched by a cat, you know that you come out looking like a murder victim.
Yeah.
And can we quickly just rewind for when Jennifer got her leg scratched? So she fell over and she's like, oh, someone was feeling up my leg. And she goes, I thought it was you feeling my leg, to the love interest, Nathan. And then he's like, oh, and you let... Right? And she's like, oh, and you let me in front of Daddy. They're saying all this in front of Daddy. I'm like, oh, this is weird. Like...
Anyway, they deem this bite mark so serious that they have to go. There's a really bad, like, it's not CGI. It's like a really bad shot of the leprechaun as full size in that log. It looks like he's standing on the other side, going, "Hey!" Anyway, it's a moment.
I'll leave him.
Bitten. We've got to take Dad to the hospital, right? Daddy has to go.
Daddy has to go to the hospital.
Daddy has to be sidelined.
Yeah, we got to get rid of Daddy.
The man follows them on a tricycle. I just want to put that out there.
He does. Off he hops on his tricycle. So while JD and Tori take Daddy to the hospital, Alex and Ozzy go visit a pawn shop to see if the gold is actually pure gold and worth something. To which it is, so they leave it with the pawn shop owner.
Wait, can we quick? What's Tori's boyfriend's name? What's his name?
JD. Nathan.
Nathan. Yeah. Okay, so sorry, I'm following now again. Yep. Mixing people up.
Are you sure?
So, I probably said JD. Tori and Nathan are taking JD to the hospital. Blah blah blah. Yes. Alex and Ozzy go to see if the gold is correct.
You can do this, Steve. I believe in you.
You got this. You got this. Come on. Leprechaun.
The pawn shop owner is startled by a tricycle that he's never seen before rolling into his room and hitting him.
I love this. I love how much you're suffering.
The leprechaun decides to kill him with a pogo stick. Which I will give it points for the little rhyme. This old Lep, he played one. He played hoppy or something. He played pogo on my lung. It was a bit cute.
It was good.
I don't get why jumping on your chest with a pogo stick would make your face so bloody, but whatever. He did bite him as well.
Potato.
Very orally fixated, this leprechaun. He's like, wants to bite.
Yeah, he's like a little rabies-infested dog, isn't he?
Cat. Rabies-infested cat.
Shit.
So yeah, of course, because he is a leprechaun, he cannot leave the dead body without first shining his shoes.
I love that detail. Listen, I love it. It's just so, like, you're going to remember that. Like, it's one of those kills that you're always going to remember because the guy's, like, he stopped to shine his shoes. Like, oh, he's a mess. Better make sure his shoes are nice and shiny. I can't leave this like this. I cannot do it. I have a reputation. I have a reputation.
Anally retentive leprechaun. But, do you know what happened? He finds his wheels after this.
That little car thing.
He soups up a car and Lep on wheels. That's all I have to say.
This is when it started to... This is like his Gizmo moment from Gremlins. It's like, I can drive around a car too.
That's where Gizmo kicked ass. This is where Gizmo's like... This is where Gizmo... Oh, look, we're boring, Katie.
Luke is boring me. I find your description of this enthralling.
Okay. So, yeah, obviously, leprechaun in a car, quite dangerous, quite low to the ground. You know, people would not see him.
I can relate to this.
He's pulled over by a police officer and gets attacked. The police officer gets attacked and chased through the woods, conveniently near the diner where they're eating like the grossest. I guess it was meatloaf, right?
Well,
there were some really weird things that fixated me in this movie. I was like,
I'm trying to remember it, But I want
It
to
was
say,
like meatloaf and mashed potato, I think. With, like,
are you sure it wasn't
smothered in
like corned
gravy.
beef and hash?
No, it looked like
Or was it a
meatloaf.
shepherd's pie?
No.
Luke, can we mute him?
So yeah, old Lep gets rid of the police officer because
Yeah.
we need a body count,
Mhm.
and then returns to search for the gold in the house, but
It ain't there, babe.
it ain't there, baby, ain't there. They so after JD has to stay in hospital overnight for that bite wound. I don't know
Listen,
what. I feel
Could
like
get
maybe.
infected. It could get
But I feel like
infected.
that should have been like a little bit of exposition. Oh, he's running a high fever from the bite. Something.
That's
a
too
couple
much
of lines.
detail.
It
Too
would
much detail,
explain. It
babe.
would explain why everyone gets so sweaty after they get bitten in this movie. Like you'll see Nathan goes from like perfectly virile, healthy young man has a bite in his leg, and then it looks like he's got the bubonic plague. But that's okay. Maybe
Well,
that's what happens.
Well,
But
Lep looks a
Rabies,
little
well.
sweaty
Yeah.
running around, so
Right.
it's fine.
So back at the farmhouse, they find it ransacked. Ransacked. And they are attacked when Nathan goes outside to investigate. He gets his leg caught in the smallest bear trap I've seen in the world.
Yeah, I don't care how small that thing is. That's gonna fucking hurt.
Right. Right. And then the leprechaun bites him as well. Again.
Yeah.
Kick a
So I
man
had
while
a-
he's down.
Yeah,
Look
and
at
like
him.
just the whole setup here though was hilarious.
I know. If there was something that little and there were 4 of you, would you not just bash it to death till it stops moving?
Yes. And every time you see one of those like quizzes online, like you're stuck in a locked room with 3 horror villains, and it's usually like Chucky, Jigsaw, and then like we'll just call it Pennywise because I'm terrified, okay? So like who would you pick? I'm obviously gonna pick the fucking puppet or the doll because I could kick the shit out of it.
I wouldn't fuck with Chucky. Chucky's sneaky.
Still-
If all of these movies and TV series have taught us anything, Chucky is a sneaky little man. This one just comes out in broad daylight. It's like, ah!
Right. But listen, I'm 5 feet tall. I'm not tall, taller than
Kick it.
many people. I'm going
Kick
to
it
take the
squat
thing
in
I'm
the
taller than.
Kick it squat in the nuts. So yeah, they beat him with obviously fake rocks and sticks and stuff and like
Styrofoam
yeah.
rocks.
Is
Styrofoam
it a
rocks.
shillelagh
So
stick?
they have like the little kids picking up as well, like Alex
Yeah, it's-
picking it up like it's nothing.
Ah. They get safe. They get back into the house. There's a shotgun. They pump the leprechaun full of lead for a while.
Oh, is this the bit where he's skating past on the skateboard?
No,
I'm
not
taking a
yet.
screen.
This
It's
is
not?
yet. No, we're not there yet.
Oh, because that was just tragic, but we'll get to
I
that.
think it was later. I think it was a little bit later because they go out. They go out and they're like, "Oh, we've got a plan. We're going to get out of here." And this is the moment where I went, "Nah, I'm done. I'm done with this movie."
Peekaboo!
Peekaboo, I see you. This tiny go-kart with a pitchfork on the end.
I love it.
Flips
love
a
it.
truck with 4 people in it.
Yeah,
I'm like, no, I'm done.
yeah.
I'm done with this.
I love it.
I'm done with this.
Fantastic.
It's his gizmo moment. Let him have it.
Anyway,
It's something.
this is where we go back in the house. This is like we go back into the house. We see the skateboarding.
There you go. Listen, I would
That
have
man
It
broken
was
my
the
neck on a
it
skateboard.
was the 90s. Like there had to be skateboard somewhere. Right?
Cowabunga, man.
Listen,
Like,
shout out to Warwick Davis for like actually getting on the skateboard because the man did
Yes.
his own stunts. But
Hey! Whoa!
I would have fallen and cracked my head
Right.
open. So
Like
Good for him.
whatever.
they should have had him just do Bart Simpson lines by this, but like, eat me shorts.
that
Yeah.
probably would have made it better.
Although I did, he did have a random like "Do you like me buckles on me shoes" at the beginning of the movie. I was like, interesting.
Well, he's obsessed with shoes, so that kind of makes
Okay,
sense.
so Ozzy after they are like stalked. I guess you'd call it stalked. Ozzy reveals that he and Alex found the pot of gold. Tells Tori where it is. I don't know how you missed it because it was glowing like atomic green, apparently, but whatever. They dig
Like
it
that
up.
backdrop.
They dig it up. They dig it up from the well, give it to Leppy, and he disappears. And then I was like, okay, well, that was easy. But there was still like 30 minutes of the movie left to go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
This is where I was confused because I was like, shouldn't more of them be dead by this point at least?
This is where
we'll be coming to like some kind of conclusion.
Spoiler, this is where I fell asleep.
Yeah.
This is where I fell asleep. So, they think everything is over and done. So. Old Leppy, though, figures out that,
Wishful thinking.
Daisy, he's missing
I'm missing a coin.
Coin.
Oh.
One coin. They figure out.
No.
They figure out after this is when they've called the police and we've got old Leppy, doing his best ventriloquist moment. Right, that's coming up. But anyway, he's already faked being the police officer that he killed, which was a cute moment for him. They figure out that Mr. O'Grady, Dan O'Grady, is still alive and is in the nursing home after his stroke. Leps back outside, causing drama. So they decide to throw dirty shoes out there to distract him. So he gets a shining while Tori jumps in her tricked out Jeep and heads.
So he gets shining the shoes.
Yeah, he gets shining the shoes. And Tori goes to visit the home.
Oh.
Now, I did not see any of this, so this is all news to me. At the nursing home, the Leprechaun pretends to be O'Grady and then chases Tori into an elevator, throws O'Grady's bloody body down the shaft as Tori flees. See, I missed this.
Through the ceiling. No, I did see this bit. Because I remember it was on like the little thing he's pedaling after when she got into the elevator.
Because he was in a wheelchair, right?
Yeah.
Well,
I missed this. I was like,
well, I told you before that Mr. Davis did his own stunts, but this scene he had a lot of trouble with because, it's hard to maneuver a wheelchair when you're chasing someone. So they had to film this with Jennifer Aniston running in slow motion so he could keep the pace with her.
probably some of her best acting work.
Definitely.
It's interesting they decided to go to a nursing home because that really did set the ceiling for this movie by this point. Like Steve is already having his nana nap. And it really felt
Luke's
like
chosen to forget it, like forget about it after seeing it.
I've assumed dementia by this point. I don't know. It was
anyway
before uncontrollably because I've just
Katie's pissing herself in the corner.
Yeah,
she needs lady depends. Okay. Before he dies, O'Grady tells Aniston, Tori, the only way to kill a leprechaun is with a 4-leaf clover, which isn't true because it didn't kill him, it just stopped him.
Just subdues him.
It subdues, it weakens him. It's like his kryptonite, yo.
Yeah, man.
Yo. So Tori returns to the farmhouse. Oh, obviously, she runs into old Leppy, which we saw before. It's like, cute moment. And searches for a 4-leaf clover in the dark. Like, hello. Anyway.
It's not the craziest thing in the storyline.
Anyway.
It's not.
Yeah, right. Nathan and Ozzy save her, and that's when Ozzy reveals that he got a bit hungry and thought did he think the coin was chocolate?
I can't remember.
I don't want to say it, but I think he's just greedy and gutsy. He just ate it.
I think he just didn't know any better.
True. Anyway, old Lepo hears this and decides to get back his coin.
Oh, he
disembowel him.
Ozzy gets a little bit, Ozzy gets a little bit, messed up.
Mm-hmm.
But Alex, the 40-year-old to 11-year-old, saves the day, takes his 4-leaf clover, sticks it to a wad of gum, and shoots it into the leprechaun's mouth, causing him to disintegrate.
Fuck you, Lucky Charms.
As you do.
As you do.
Hey, wait, this has all happened on the same day, right?
Yeah, this is like shot.
Okay, so Ozzy wouldn't have shit the coin out by this point.
I mean,
no,
probably not.
Yeah.
You're the nurse. You tell me.
The leprechaun falls into the well, but climbs out saying,
I want to be gold.
I want me gold. Nathan.
Do you have the
being
bit where he
hero.
gets hit? I got a screenshot of him like hitting him with the barrel
Yeah.
at the back of the shotgun. That was the
We're going
best.
there. I'm just saying it now.
We're going. We're getting
Nathan
there.
attacks the leprechaun, sending him back down the well. See you, girl. You're gone. Like a bad
And
date.
he said,
you know?
"Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker!"
No, he didn't.
He did not.
Oh, is that
He's-
another movie?
It is another movie. It's a better movie.
So
It's
he
for
then
Christmas time.
he then proceeds to blow up both the well and the leprechaun with gasoline, with a very small amount of gasoline. Let's be honest.
Was there
Cops
water in the
arrive.
well?
You would hope so.
You would think
Then why the fuck's it on fire?
Yeah, true.
gasoline can still catch on fire in water.
Yeah, but it have to be a lot of gasoline.
It burned until the
Could
next
cause that.
day.
Well, I would assume it was meant to be this is near sunrise. You know,
It's prolific. Okay, it's a
You know,
prolific ending.
Okay.
the,
Just keep going.
the,
The
the
well's
authorities
on fire.
arrive. Tori's reunited with her dad. I didn't see that. The cops investigate the remains of the well, and we get a voiceover saying that he won't rest until he gets the last of his gold.
He's the leprechaun.
I am the leprechaun. Look at me, well's on fire.
That's
I'll
my
be back.
Didn't he get his gold back by this point?
No, because
Or
he's
is
just
the
got
one
thrown in the
coin-
well, so the gold's still there. You don't have the gold with him,
Oh.
bruh.
Oh no!
Oh no,
And
Poor
that,
little Leppy.
my friends,
is the movie
is the movie.
which spawned
Now,
so many sequels.
Let's talk about. We're about to talk about that because this movie had a budget of $1 million, which is not a huge budget for a Hollywood film,
But not tiny either.
but
for
not
a piece
tiny
of crap.
either. It could.
No,
I don't
it's
know
not
where.
tiny
I don't
by
know where
any
the money
means.
went, but okay, interesting.
it
Um,
Jennifer
It
Aniston. No, she
made-
didn't even want much then, did she?
it made
couldn't.
$8.6 million. $8.6
So
million.
It
Who
made,
the
Had an 800% profit.
it
Who
made
the
its money back and then some.
Who the fuck saw this movie?
We
People
did.
apparently
Because of
I didn't.
Spadooty.
wasn't. You had options.
I didn't. And of course, in true horror fashion,
It's like, how many
It
sequels
spawned.
does there have Leppy?
7
1, 2,
sequels
3,
to
4,
date.
5, 6. Well, yeah, 7 if you count.
Because
the-
he's had space. I know little Leps has been to space.
Yes, he went.
What
he
else
went
has
to
he done?
space.
Where has he
He's
gone?
gone-
He went to
he's
the
gone
hood.
to- He's
He
gone
went
to
to the hood
twice. He's been to Las
Oh.
Vegas in number 3. And Warwick Davis didn't actually appear
them all.
in Leprechaun Return. No, he didn't return for Leprechaun Returns, which is actually a direct sequel to Leprechaun 1 because Ozzy, the character of Ozzy, is in with the same actor playing him, is in Leprechaun Returns. So they tried to Halloween this motherfucker before it happened.
It didn't work.
It didn't
didn't
work.
Should have went
there-
with Jen, guys.
But there is always constantly news of another Leprechaun movie in the works. I mean,
I just
But
want
would
them
Jennifer
to
Aniston do it? Would she?
stop. Never
she-
in her life.
she's got that friends money. She doesn't have to fart.
She doesn't have to do any of this ever again. Ever
No,
again.
no.
She'll never do another horror movie. Ever.
Well, she makes
Well-
horrible movies, but
She makes horrible movies, but she will
But
never do a horror
Were they
movie.
more horrible than Leprechaun? There's the
No.
challenge.
Let's see. There was
Along
Picture
Came Polly was
Perfect.
pretty bad.
Along
Oh,
Came Polly was terrible. What else was there?
Horrible Bosses was okay. The first one, the
Horrible
second one
Bosses
was bad.
all right.
Friends
Second
was
one.
terrible.
What was the one with Paul Rudd? That one was all right, but that was because Paul Rudd
Object
was
of My
great.
Affection, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Because he was gay.
and beautiful.
What about Picture Perfect? That was a
I thought-
nice one.
I didn't like
It's,
that. I think everyone acted circles around her.
And then didn't she have cake and stuff when she was trying to be like serious
Yes,
actress?
she tried cake and didn't work out for her.
The only person who doesn't like cake.
what
So
can I tell you?
How many
I-
clovers do you give this film?
Hold on, I got some fun facts for you.
we got
Oh,
some fun facts
shit.
before
We
we wrap
got
it up,
some
y'all.
fun facts, guys, because this was shot over 3 weeks in some really
I
iconic
thought it was shot
locations.
over about 30 minutes, but okay.
All right. It was shot in the same studio as Terminator 2, which
Oh,
was the better
big
movie.
jump in quality.
It was also shot in, I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, Simi Valley at Big Sky Ranch, which is also the location of Little House on the Prairie and the Waltons.
Oh,
Again.
Say
Vera.
better products.
Much better products. What else we got here? It was inspired by Lucky Charms. I'm not
The
kidding
cereal.
you.
Cereal.
The cereal.
Okay.
Yeah, because we don't get Lucky Charms here, so you got to clarify this for.
Okay,
For-
well, General Mills did not want anything to do with this film. I mean, can you
Oh.
believe it? Why wouldn't they want anything to do with this film?
Lucky Charms.
So it was changed to Lucky Clovers. And the line at the end of the film originally was "You ran out of luck," but it got changed to "Fuck you, Lucky Charms." That's a little dig. Dig. Some notable thank yous were in the credits. George Lucas was one of them because he had a contract with Warwick Davis to exclusively work for him. But George Lucas was like, yeah, all right, go do this film. Whatever. It's not going to do better than the story.
Go and damage your career.
Yeah,
Go on.
just go ahead. Just don't mention me. Just don't mention my name. Please don't.
Except in the credits.
And then Dan Quayle, believe it or not. Now, what does he have to do with this film? He expedited Warwick Davis's work visa so he could legally film. Because
That's all little Warwick that brought all these people with an actual reputation into this shit pile.
he did something.
Oh, Warwick.
It was delayed for 2 years. So I think it was. So yeah, it was delayed for 2 years because they had some real ambitious marketing.
So they shot it in like 91, did they?
They did. So it was delayed. And it was real ambitious. They wanted to partner up with the American Stock Exchange and the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Not really sure how those two go together. Didn't work out for them. However, they did pair up with Domino's and Subway and had a successful marketing campaign.
With the little leprechaun eating your Subway.
Eating the Domino's, a little pepperoni on my pizza.
I want me foot long. No.
Those are your fun facts.
Wow. So, folks, ratings.
How many clovers, Katie?
4 out of 4 just for pissing you guys off. But if we're gonna be real, I'm gonna go like 1.5. Because I mean, you gotta take it for what it is. It's a really terrible film, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
a lot
look,
of
I'm
fun
going
to
to give
make.
it, out of 4 clovers, I'll give it 2 clovers because it's shit, but I've seen so much worse with better budgets, and it is just a stupid, corny mess. If you're going in just for the complete, I guess, absurdity of the whole concept, then yeah, it's fun. It is what it is.
You gotta go
You get
in
what you
like
paid for.
you gotta go in like this is gonna be terrible. Maybe we'll have some good liners to laugh at. And they do. They do.
This is the 90s, okay?
It is the 90s. Okay, Stephen? Stephen.
Stephen, give it
I'm vacillating between a half a clover
vacillating.
and 1
Woo.
because
That's an SAT word.
you've got Jennifer Aniston's performance, Warwick Davis's performance, and Alex. They're not bad actors. I've seen worse actors in like the majority of the Friday the 13th films have worse actors than this. I think the sad thing is that they potentially could have had something quite good here if the filmmaker had any talent whatsoever. So he did not.
Here's the thing.
There's no sense if this is meant
Hold
to be
on.
a horror. If this is meant to be a horror comedy film, at no point am I A, horrified, B, laughing. So that's a failure.
Well, don't you
in
kind of
my
wonder what film this could have been if he went the serious route like he wanted to instead of
If
doing
it was
more,
a if it
more
was a hot, but
Davis's
still,
comedy?
they'd shot some of it. There was never any kind of ominous presence. Everything is shown, not suggested. Like it's bad filmmaking.
I think this movie got lost its identity too. Like it's like a bad Goosebumps. Like they
don't
where they
Look, it wouldn't
let's
be
do it
out
for
of place.
kids. No,
It wouldn't
let's
be
do it
out of
for
place on
adults.
Are You Afraid of the Dark? But Are You Afraid? Every episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark is better than this and scarier.
We've been watching that.
How good is Are You Afraid of the Dark? Love it. Anyway,
So good.
some of them are still really scary. Actually, like I remember. Oh, we're gonna flashback anyway. I
let's
remember
do it.
I used to be scared of the Nightly Neighbors when the vampires moved next door.
We just watched that this afternoon. We had to turn it off. Grayson was not feeling it. He's like,
right, scared the poo out of me.
What happened?
The Tale of Laughing in the Dark.
Oh,
Zebo.
oh.
Still to this day, I get a little bit.
What else? What else is scary? I was always scared of the vampire in the movie theater because it gave me very Nosferatu vibes.
Yeah.
Yes. The jester with the blue goo. Ooh.
Yeah. There's some really great ones. Like that was obviously for our generation. That was my introduction to horror. Like, and
Love it.
still to this day, some of them make me go, "Oh, what is that?" Like,
and then we got anthology series like Fear Itself, which was beautiful.
Of course, we had Tales from the Crypt. Which,
and we had Tales from the Crypt, and we had Creepshow and Masters of Horror, and all the 90s kids are just living in their glory, right?
See, and had this movie really set out to like have fun with the stuff like that, like Tales from the Crypt did, this could have been a lot more palatable than what we got. I think this just was a confused mess.
It was just bad filmmaking.
Tales from the Crypt takes they just eat it up. Like they just okay, this is going to be ridiculous. Let's just boom, let's go.
Yeah, they're chewing scenery from the out
like they don't even try. They know what they're doing and they just go out to do it.
But there are some scary episodes. Like there's some episodes where I go, oh, I don't like that. Like, oh.
Yeah, but deep down, is the Crypt Keeper actually scary, or is he hilarious?
Well, this is what happens when our horror figures become comedians.
But he had more charisma
like
than
Freddy.
Leprechaun.
I thought he had plenty of charisma. I think he just
didn't have
much,
as I said,
didn't have much to work with.
The problem wasn't with Warwick Davis. The problem wasn't with Jennifer Aniston or the kid that played Alex. They were miles. They deserved a better film to be in.
Yes,
they deserved a better film to be in, and this is why this C grade horror, like multiple sequels, like all that stuff that we've come to expect. This is why, like this, and The Howling, and actually the first Howling movie was great. Then,
but people went to see it. Like if you make
people went to see this, it made $8 million.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if
I don't get it.
Make almost $9 million on a $1 million budget, you're gonna do a sequel. Like there's.
I guess it was the mid-90s. This is when horror was dying a big death.
And until Scream decided to just give it an epi and bring it back to life.
But yeah, look, it's safe to say that I will not be part of the rest of the franchise review. we won't be.
I don't think we'll be reviewing any more Leprechauns.
We won't be following up any more Leprechauns unless something dramatic happens and we are forced to.
Next year
now we're going to pose the question to you guys: is there something you would like us to review? Because at the moment, the only thing we definitely have on the cards, we're going to do when we're all together in October. We're going to go see Halloween Ends together and do a nice little review at Jeffrey's house. It's going to be cute. We might even carve a jack-o'-lantern and stuff for the occasion.
Well, let's think about what's coming up, kids.
Can I give a little bit of a spoiler as well of something that I've got in the works that we're going to do?
Go ahead and I'll start talking about the horrible holiday films. Go ahead.
Okay, so we are going to do a Friday the 13th special, and it will be with our Mr. Todd Farmer, and we're going to do the amazing Jason X.
My favorite, besides Freddy versus Jason, by the way. And I'm not just saying that because I'm madly in love with Todd. I mean, we all know I'm madly in love with Todd.
We know Katie's got poor taste, hence why this review exists.
Again, I'll make it worse, baby. I'll make it worse. Night of the Lepus we could do for Easter. Yeah. And you know what that is?
It's an Easter bunny, right?
We're doing Critters 2 for Easter.
Killer bunnies! And then we could do Mother's Day for Mother's Day and Stepfather for Father's Day.
Steve, should we roll the credits?
So if you have a suggestion of what you would like us to review, please comment below. Let us know. Thank you for joining us. We hope that you haven't lost your mind and your gold on this.
You guys know you had fun.
Until then, you know, Don't go digging any cats out of trees. I guess is the moral of story.
And if you find some gold, probably don't eat it.
Don't swallow it.
And make sure you clean your
No.
shoes. Otherwise, you're going to have some really
Or don't clean
unpleasant
your
visitors.
shoes.
No, because
Don't-
then he
or
then he shows up.
But then he's distracted. You can get away.
Fair enough.
And if Katie ever suggests that we review a movie, don't do it.
Listen, I pick great films.
All right, kids. Keep it creepy. We'll see you next time at Uncensored Horror. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Be gold!